Hey, okay, so we're going to try this here because it did not work on my fan page. So we're going to chat all things Avengers Infinity War. I'm currently sitting at the Portland International Airport and getting ready for my flight to LA this morning. And let's see if I can... Inviting. Is Ashley coming to my window to party? It says connecting. Hey, we're here. So, yay, we're making a video.
Finally.
Someone wants to share a video. Weird. Okay. Yeah, so, okay, we're here chatting. This is so great. It's working. Woohoo! All right. So, yeah, we're going to chat all things Avengers Infinity War. And we're going to totally talk spoilers. So if you have not seen this, hop off this video now.
Yeah. Like, this is your only warning. It's about
seriously. Oh my gosh. So what should we start with?
Where do you start? I feel personally victimized by the Russo brothers.
Seriously. Also, the fact that we have to wait a year for a resolution.
Yeah, no, that's it's cruel. It's very, very cruel.
It's super cruel. A year is ridiculous. I mean, I guess, yeah, fine, okay, they're in the business of making money and movies, but like a year, I feel like I have PTSD.
Yeah. I do. I think I'm meant that for a year. And then depending on how it all resolves in 4, that PTSD might last a long, long time from now. I'm not ready. I'm ready and I'm not ready.
Seriously. Also, I love your shirt, by the way.
Well, you knew I had to represent. I had to represent for Cap. Always.
I mean, I'm not surprised that's the shirt you're wearing today, but you know.
Well, you know.
And we can drop them in here later if people want them. But your Easter egg post was fantastic, by the way.
Oh, well, so was yours. I was reading through yours, and I'm like, oh my god, I missed those. How did I miss those? And I love Die Hard.
So many good ones in there. I was like, oh my god, so much good nerdiness.
And you didn't think that you had that nerdiness in you. I knew it was there. It was in there the whole time.
Listen, I knew it had a little bit, but like when I was going through that, I was like, oh, there's another comic book reference. Oh, wait, there's another one. Oh, another one. And I was like, maybe I'm a little bit nerdier than I realized.
I told you, you got me excited when you referenced Silver Surfer and Bruce Banner, and I'm like, oh, yes. Because the guy at GameStop did not get that.
When that first happened, I was like, oh my god, I was like, it's a Silver Surfer. I was like, okay, it's Bruce Banner, but it's a Silver Surfer. I was like, because I think that's one of my favorite moments in the comic book. And I told you, like, I literally, like, I referenced my anxiety as, like, I liken it to, like, him sort of laying on Doctor Strange's couch. So, like, for me, I think that's, like, just a great comic book reference in general.
Yeah.
And when I saw them in the movie, I was like, oh my god, I was like, this movie's going to be epic. I mean, I knew it was going to be epic anyway, but the fact when that happened, I was just like, okay, it's over. Like, it's over for me. And that was like the 4th reference in, right? Like, that wasn't even the very first one. That was like, I don't know, like 4 in or 5 in, like the Easter eggs. I was like, what?
Yeah, no. I mean, you kind of forced me to go back and put mine in order. Mine were all over the place. Like, there was just, Cap was like first with all my, like, gushing about how much I love him and adore him.
I mean, I still don't think that they were, like, super in order. Like, I'm still sure half of them are out of order, but I tried to put them in order because I felt like when I went back through, I was like, they were so disorganized that, like, if you were reading the ones about, like, say, like, Die Hard, if you read it at the end, you'd be like, well, wait, where was that reference? So I felt like I had to go back and try to put them in order as much as possible. But so many of them happened so quickly that I was like, wait, when did that happen in the movie? And then I went back and just tried. I was like, oh, I feel like I need to put these in order to make them make sense when I was reading them, but
no, I get that. I get that, and I did it. I did the work last night. I tried to put them in order. So I was like, fine, sense. She makes sense, whatever.
Well, I think it's because I ended up with so many too. Like I dribbled a few of them on the page, and then I went back and I was putting them in, and I was like, oh, there's so many that they had to be in order. Like if I had like 5 or 10, it wouldn't have mattered, but there were so many that I was like, okay, I think they have to be in order. It's just vomit on a page, which it kind of is anyway, but whatever.
That's pretty accurate. I love too that neither one of us did the whole, oh my God, here's 40 some Easter eggs that you totally missed. Because I hate that. Because when I see articles like that, I'm like, you douchebags. I didn't miss that stuff. I might have missed 1 or 2, but I didn't miss like all of them.
Well, and like I know that I'm sure that I missed some. I mean, even like I read your article and I was like, oh, I totally missed that. Or like, oh, I definitely could have had that reference. Or like I was saying to you last night, like some of them I kind of lumped together because I was like, is that 1 Easter egg or is that 3? Like you talk about like Rocket and his love of like fake body parts, and you're like, was that 1 reference or is that 6? You know, like Borker's eye. Like I feel like you see the eye, they talk about the eye, and then he references like Bucky's arm, and you're like, that's almost like multiple eggs, right? Like it's 1 egg, but it's kind of multiple eggs because it's all about, like it really kind of references one thing, but it's like multiple things. So I was like, how do you count that? I don't know. So yeah, if you're one of those douche writers, you'd be like, oh, these 47 things that you missed, but you're like, well, is it, or did you miss 1, or is it 6 references? I don't know. Like how many references is it really?
Yeah, no. Like you said, I missed some of yours, like, and I'm like kicking myself. Like the one, I'm like, I can't believe I didn't even put that together. So I loved it. I loved it because, well, we talked about it. We're like, we both have a big list, but I bet we don't overlap that much because there's just so much going on in that movie. And I feel like we probably missed about 40 more almost.
Oh my goodness, I'm sure. Because, well, and like, I read the comics, but not like you read the comics. So like, there were a bunch that you got that I didn't, but I feel like there have to be a whole bunch that I like didn't even catch.
Oh yeah. So I think you should talk about the moment where when we were talking on the phone, Tuesday, and I was like, damn you, I think you need to talk about that
one. Wait, which one? Was there only one?
I think there's one. So we were talking about the end. So spoiler again, run away. But when everybody fluttered away, as you put it, and you're like,
oh.
So
that
part.
Like, is it the one where it's like, are the ones who fluttered actually alive, or the ones who fluttered actually dead?
Yeah,
that moment.
That's.
Yeah, because we know that like, obviously contracts don't necessarily mean anything, but like it's all kind of the original Avengers that are the ones who stayed, and everybody else are the ones that flittered away. But we know that you have the new Avengers coming up, and everybody who is the quote-unquote half of the universe that like flittered away are all of the like new cast. So obviously like Peter Parker's not going to stay dead. Black Panther's probably not going to stay dead. Yet the only people who seem to have stayed are the original people. So yeah, I was kind of like, I wonder if it's like this alternate universe or alternate reality where the ones who flittered away are actually the people who are alive, and the other people are the ones that are dead, stuck in some like, limbo, whatever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was it. Cause I'm all like, Cap's okay, I'm okay. And you're like, well, what if it's not? Like,
right. You were like, but what if? Mm-hmm. Well, and then it was interesting. So my friend Carol was saying her daughter, who's like 8, was watching it, and she was like, but Mom, it was so hard to watch all the people who loved somebody also die. And you were like, oh my God, that's so profound. I was like, you're 8. I was like, what? You're 8? Like, why would you say that? But I was like, wow, that's really, it was like they all watched a loved one.
I can't talk
like
about it.
Black Panther leaves way up there, and like, where like Vision died, and then like Scarlet Witch flitters away, and you're like, oh, it was kind of interesting, right? Or like Rocket watches, Groot leave for a second time of all things, right? Are you kidding me? I was like, he already lost Groot once, like he loses Groot again? Like, no, stop it. Like that can't even be a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was a really profound observation for an 8-year-old.
Oh, for sure. I pointed that out a little bit in my Easter egg post with the panel in the comic of Cap when Hawkeye disappears and how he's just like stunned and like there's nothing he can do. And like my tears, I cried for Loki and Heimdall. And I teared up as soon as I heard Bucky say Steve in that voice of just like what's happening to me, Steve. And then with the hopelessness on Steve's face and just him not being able to do anything about Bucky. Like he can't jump in front of a bullet for him. He can't block him with the shield. He can't do anything. And like that crushed me, his face. And then
none of his normal superhero powers can fix anything.
Right, and Rocket with Groot, and that was painful. And then Peter, oh man, because I wasn't expecting Peter Parker to go like that. And when just him being so scared and just being a parent, I was just like, oh my God, he's a baby. He's a baby. And he's like, and so like that, it
like clinging to Iron Man, who like, I couldn't care less about Iron Man. Like, when he died, though, I was a little, like, or when he almost died, I was like, but yeah, and then with, like, Peter clinging to him, I was like, okay, or I'm going to lose it. Okay, wait, I lost it. I was like, let's be real. I cried through, like, the second half of the movie.
Yeah. And then when it goes back to Steve and they're just like, they all look to him, like, what are we going to do? And he's just like, oh my God. And like, that's all he can say. And he's just, he's just so stricken. And I'm like, I'm stricken. I really think he mirrored the audience's reaction to this film because I don't think I've ever sat through a Marvel movie where everyone was silent, dead silent at the end. Just like, what the hell just happened?
The audience too, because Cap always has the answers, right? Like Cap is the one that they always do because he has a plan, he has the answers, he always has something to do. And in that moment, he's like, I don't know. Like, he literally is just like, I've got nothing.
Yeah. And it was so heartbreaking. It was so heartbreaking. I just wanted to hug him. Hug myself at the same time. But, that was hard. I will say the second time watching it, I think it's easier in the sense that you're not as anxious because you know what's going to happen. So you can appreciate, like, the Easter eggs. I caught stuff the second time I catch the first time. I do think you should see it on IMAX because when we did the press screening, it was 2D, regular size. And I totally missed, like, the gauntlet stuff I was telling you about in the 2D showing. But in the IMAX showing, I could see it. I could see, like, from probably about here down. And I'm like, oh.
Well, and when I watched it the second time around, like, so, how we were talking about his arm, like, you almost can see it all the way up to his neck, too. Like, all the way up to, like, that side of his neck looks like it's damaged. Which I think is interesting. But yeah, like, that whole side is trashed. Oh, you're frozen, Ashley. Ashley, you're gone. Ashley flittered away. Okay, well, she just lost her connection. Oh, wait, there she is. I'm bringing her back. Unfortunately, I couldn't do that for the rest of the
Sorry about that. I got a phone call, and then when I came back, it was completely frozen. So
that's cool. Obviously, I brought you back.
Oh, well, thanks.
I was saying I couldn't do that with, like, the rest of the people in the movie, but I could do that with you.
I knew you were going to make that reference.
Right?
So
Ashley flew away. All right, what else? Let's see. I know we're going to chat on Twitter here in a little bit, but, like, biggest surprise, I think, for me, there were two. And one was, I fully expected Loki and Heimdall. Like, those were not surprises to me.
No, they weren't. They were still heartbreaking, but they weren't surprising.
Yes, totally sad. Did not expect it to happen quite so quickly. Like, 5 more minutes would have been great. Like, because we all want a little Tom Hiddleston and a little Idris Elba. Like, really, like, that needed to happen 3 minutes into the movie. Could have given me a little bit happened. Nobody expected him to be hiding out there. So that was like a really interesting twist because, I mean, really we haven't seen him since what, 1945? Is that when he got like, you know, I touched the Tesseract and I got like apparently sent to Vormir and nobody thought that was a thing?
So yeah, we were all wrong. All Soul Stone theories were wrong.
Right? Everybody was wrong, and I thought that was a really interesting twist. And an interesting twist in that nobody, like, I haven't heard anybody be like, well, that's the dumbest thing ever. Like, everybody was like, oh, wow, like, that's cool. And then Gamora dying, obviously. Like, that was like, wait, what just happened?
Yeah.
I'm still pissed at that one. I can handle half the universe because I fully expected that to happen based on, like, knowing what happened in the comics. But her, I was like, no. I was like, give me back Gamora. I'm still a little angry about that.
I can tell. Let's see. Biggest surprise for me.
So on the day that we did the premiere or whatever, like we had junket stuff going on during the day, I wore a Gamora shirt all day long because like we can wear a Marvel shirt or whatever. Yeah, I wore a Gamora shirt, and then we went to the premiere, and I was like, really? Marsh was like, it's like you knew, and I was like, I didn't, but it was weird. Yeah.
All the fields. I don't know. I think for me, the biggest surprise, probably Peter Parker. Since we have two Peters. Spider-Man, man. I wasn't expecting that. I don't think I was expecting Panther, because again, I wasn't expecting the new ones to turn to ash and flutter away. And Gamora, I'm like, once I realized what was happening when he's like, oh, you have to sacrifice this, you know, the soul of something you love. And she's like laughing. I'm like, oh no, like this is bad. He's always called her, you know, his favorite daughter. And, you know, you think that he has no feelings, but the crazy part is Thanos makes some sense if you listen. And it's bad because then you're like, he makes sense. And then you're like, what the hell's wrong with me? But he kind of makes sense. He's a little crazy, but he makes sense. So it's like, I was like, no, he's a lot more complex than just, I hate everything and I'm just out to kill everyone. And I'm like, oh, no, this is not going to end well. So that for me, I was a surprise too. Like, yeah, like you said, Loki and Heimdall, they weren't a surprise. I knew they'd be the first two to go. It was painful to watch still, despite knowing. And I definitely, the first viewing, I was not ready to laugh at the next scenes with Tony and Doctor Strange. I just wasn't ready for it. Like, I knew it was funny, but I'm like, no, I'm still back here, like mourning and wiping tears away because of Loki finally sacrificing himself. And I'm just like, oh, baby. So that was the big surprises for me, I think, in the big emotional moments. But I will say that I think, so what we talked about is Doctor Strange giving up the Time Stone, and he's saying, like, we're in the end game now to Tony. I think that one instance out of the 14, what did he say, million that he saw?
Million, yeah.
Future, that either Thanos had all of the stones and Tony was alive as well, or Tony was alive. And so either way, it wasn't out of the goodness of his heart. I know some of Iron Man fans might want to think that, but I don't think Tony redeemed himself in any way. For Strange's
he doesn't
liking.
Like that much. Nobody likes Tony
I
that
don't
much.
think he likes. I don't think he likes. I mean, he stretched his like quads and his hamstrings out on the cauldron of the cosmos. So you know,
that
he's
still
like a total.
Me. I was like, could you
he's
stretch
a total
your quads
tool.
somewhere else? I mean, is the banister like really?
I know. Like, why are you gonna pick the base? The antique.
Knock that off its like pedestal.
Oh,
fucking
such a Tony thing to do. So I don't think Strange did that out of the goodness of his heart. I don't think he did it because he liked Tony in any way. I think whatever he saw in that one instance led him to having to do what he did to give up the Time Stone and save Tony's life. But I was surprised Tony made it out because, you know, in the comics, he loses his head, literally. But, so, which Jana subconsciously left in her post about Spider-Man.
Shows you how much I just don't like Tony Stark.
You're like,
I love to
fine, just leave that there. So, but yeah.
That was so funny.
think,
I didn't even notice that. You pointed it out. I was like, what? I had to go back and look, and I was like, oh my gosh, I did.
Really? That was like one of the first things I noticed. I was like, I see what you did there. But just, man. Yeah, no, I'm curious to see how it goes down. Because, I mean, in the comics, Nebula gets the gauntlet. She it's Monday. She reverses everything that Thanos did, minus him having the gauntlet. And so everybody that fluttered away could potentially come back in that aspect.
Well,
and then
she's still here, right? She's not one that fluttered away, so.
Right. Phone fell. Sideways.
I think you just.
And somersault
So
to
we have we have 3 minutes until our Twitter party starts.
Okay.
Because we are doing it an hour early today, so we should probably hop off and hop on Twitter instead. Yeah.
Yep. Let's meet us over there.
All right. And so for you guys that are watching, we're over on Twitter at Marvel Mondays. So we'll see you guys over there.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.